Hey everybody, it's Allie and welcome to our Y&R Chat for Sunday, November 27th, 2016. This week was our Thanksgiving extravaganza. There were 3 very light episodes. There was a lot of character interaction and quirky little interactions. There wasn't a whole lot of drama unfolding, but I thought that Y&R did a really nice job with the set decorations and creating the sense that it was Thanksgiving in Genoa City. So I had a good time with these 3 episodes. Apparently, there was a rebroadcast, which I am assuming went out on some stations on Thursday or Friday, but it was, I guess it would have been, had to have been Friday because the parade was Thursday, but it was not broadcast in my area. I checked the TV at 11 a.m. thinking I was gonna maybe get a classic Y&R and treat myself, but there was nothing. But they did show on the preview of Wednesday's episode that there was gonna be a rebroadcast, and I'm watching that thinking, why did they choose a newer episode? Because you could tell right away it was an episode from maybe a month or 2 ago. I love classic holiday Y&R episodes, and here we're getting something that we just saw, and it dawned on me, oh, okay, I realize why they're playing this one. It's because it was one of Justin Hartley's very last episodes. I think Y&R was really trying to capitalize on the huge smash success of the This Is Us phenomenon, and they decided to maybe put out that episode to show that he was on Y&R back in the day. So, oh well, it was still a really good week. And even with Justin Hartley gone, it is surprising and maybe not surprising how much Adam's presence is still really felt deeply on the show and in Genoa City. Chelsea and Nick are together for this holiday, spending yet another holiday without their beloved spouse. They've both lost someone really important to them. They are trying to raise children separately on their own, but coming together, and it's just been, I think, a really fun journey for Nick and Chelsea. I thought that Nick was adorable as the pilgrim and the native in Faith's school project, which she waited to the last minute to put together, which I would not appreciate as a parent. I'd be like, kid, come on. You should have been doing this project weeks ago. Now here we are on Thanksgiving, scrambling to get this crap done. But he did a really good job. Chelsea made him up this weird outfit. I mean, the pilgrim one looked okay, but the native outfit he just looked like a hippie stoner or something. I don't know. It was just this poncho that draped over him, and it had some leaves on it, and he just looked like he should be smoking a doob or something. It was weird, but it was really, really cute. I liked that Y&R did something different, and I love seeing this side of Josh Morrow. I've always heard that he's a real jokester on the set, and he just seems like a cool guy. So it was fun to see him doing something just a little bit offbeat. I think maybe we need to give the Pulitzer Prize to Faith for her in-depth reporting on the first Thanksgiving. I mean, at least the little girl should get a job at GC Buzz, don't you think? Maybe we need to submit Faith's resume to Hillary and see if we can get her on at that show. But I guess, you know, after seeing all of this cuteness between Nick and Chelsea, I'm really curious this week to hear how you guys are coming around on this couple, because we did a poll question probably 2 or 3 months ago, as soon as we started seeing hints of Chelsea and Nick's relationship flaring up or starting to blossom, and it seemed like like most people, felt that it was a little too early post Adam's death for Chelsea specifically to be getting involved with anyone. But now that we're a little ways down the road, how are you guys feeling about Nick and Chelsea? Do you think that they make a good couple? Is the timing still too early, or are you kind of feeling like maybe you're ready to see some sparks, maybe a kiss or something here or there? Like where are you guys on this hot burning issue? I mean, Chelsea is kind of seeming like she could already be Mrs. Newman. Oh, I mean, Mrs. Nick Newman. She's already a Mrs. Newman, but it almost seems like she has incorporated herself flawlessly into this family. She chose to go to the Newman family Thanksgiving this year instead of attending the gathering that was already happening at her own house. So that says a lot about how much time she's spending with Nick, how she values that relationship, and where it places in her life, because she could have had kind of a single girl drinking wine with Bella and allowing Connor to be around Bella, but she chose to go to the Newman family Thanksgiving, which was it was very hoity-toity. It seemed very pinky in the air at the Newman Ranch this year. Do you notice that at pretty much every time we are at the ranch lately, it's classical music in the background? They're giving us a kind of vibe at the Newman Ranch. It was the upper crust of the turkey this year. No handing out food to the homeless here. Oh no, this is how the other half lives, which I really appreciated. I thought the ranch was decorated beautifully. Oh, they had those gorgeous roses. I think they had to have been fake or something. I don't know. But I'm always looking at the set decorations. I thought the table spread was gorgeous. It did seem very Newman-esque. The classical music may be taking it a little bit too far, but I liked seeing Victor at the head of the table. I liked seeing all of the Newmans actually together under one roof. I liked seeing Nikki standing there next to her husband. She just lets him get away with all the things he says, but there's just something about that Newman family togetherness that I've been missing and that I really, really liked. It was really quite cool. Travis makes an appearance at the Thanksgiving dinner with Victoria after she successfully dodged his proposal. I mean, when we last left off, he was on one knee in the park wanting to propose to her, or proposing to her, with Billy looking on in the background, by the way, and she dodged it. I mean, she found a way of wriggling and floating away out of that situation that was kind of commendable. I don't know how he thought that was okay, or that wasn't a big old red flag to him. I think he just caught her so off guard. She just did not see it coming. They've been having issues in their relationship, and she wasn't ready to jump into his arms and say, yes, yes, yes. I don't blame her. So she kind of gives him this weird, not a no, but not a yes kind of answer, and leaves him. She just kind of abandons and walks away. She goes to the office, of all places, where Billy is there, and here Billy has an opportunity to tell her everything that he knows about Travis, that he slept with Michelle. So a piece of information that Victoria needs to know. I don't understand why he's choosing to not tell her. There's just something that's not connecting there for me. If you love somebody or care about somebody, she's the mother of your child. Why would you let her go through with marrying someone who is deceiving her? I mean, I understand that it's maybe you feel out of place, like it's something that you shouldn't be sticking your nose into, but why start now? I mean, tell Victoria, and he doesn't do it. He doesn't open up about what he knows. I'm assuming that he's going to wait until the most dramatic moment to reveal this information. But since, Victoria doesn't have the information, it's almost like she wanted him to tell her a reason not to do it. Did you get that vibe from that scene? She's almost telling him that Travis proposed and sort of almost, I think, kind of wanting Billy to give her a reason not to do it. Maybe she's wanting somebody to talk her out of it because there's something that doesn't feel right about it. Maybe she senses that there's a lie in the air, but she's got Billy telling her to go through with it. She's got Abby telling her to go through with it. And since she doesn't know that Travis has been double dipping between her and Michelle, she decides to accept his proposal at the Newman family Thanksgiving dinner party. She just blurts it out in front of everybody that she wants to accept. And of course, everybody is thrilled for her. It's this wonderful, happy moment that is so covered by a cloud of doubt and suspicion and yuckiness. For me, I want Victoria and Travis to work out, and it's just probably not gonna happen. I mean, the whole thing just feels tainted and dirty now, and it's such a shame, because if Travis hadn't had this one night stand with Michelle, which I'm sorry, I'm not ready to just chalk up to one night of bad judgment, because he followed up the one night of bad judgment with lying to her about it repeatedly. He had an opportunity to tell her the truth and he didn't take it, and that's what ticks me off and makes me, less gung-ho for the relationship. But I feel like Travis would be such a good catch for her. They would make such a great couple if it weren't for this lie, because I tell you, I absolutely loved when Victor tried to make sure that Travis knew he wasn't real happy about the fact that Travis didn't bother to ask for Victor's hand in marriage, that this was not a pre-Victor sanctioned engagement. Victor made sure to let Travis know that, and Travis just looked at him flatly and said, "With all due respect, Victor, I'm marrying Victoria, not you." Which was such a good ballsy line. And it's something that not everybody would stand up and say to their father-in-law to be / boss, and Travis did it, and that made me respect him. And I loved Nikki's comeback saying, "Well, I'm glad you're not trying to marry Victor because he's all mine," or "he's already taken," or something. It was such a funny, really sincere moment in the family, and I just thought it's just such a shame that Travis has been reduced to kind of a liar. I can't help but almost feel a little bit bad for him, because he thinks that this is all going to work out. He thinks, probably genuinely, that he's going to be able to cover up this lie with dirt and bury it deep, and nobody's ever going to find out, which is ridiculous because way too many people already know about it. But I also can't help but think he's being so naive. You think that you're just marrying Victoria, Travis? Oh, that's so cute. You probably actually believe that foolishness, don't you? You think that you're going to be able to marry Victoria and not get the Victor? That's adorable. I feel a little cheated. I know that Jack told Phyllis at the end of last Friday's episode that he was going to go up to the cabin, but I imagined this glorious Abbott family Thanksgiving feast with Jack and Ashley and Tracy and all the kids and all the Abbotts gathered around the Abbott dining room table with all the decorations, all the trimmings, just everything perfect and classic. And it was just this sad little gathering of Jacks at the cabin. Bummer. It made no sense to me why Ashley and Tracy couldn't be there. Apparently, maybe the actors just needed time off for the holidays. But that doesn't make sense. They filmed this so far in advance. But Ashley was off doing some promo for the Jabot Go app, and Tracy was sick. It was really sad. Gosh, I had this picture in my mind of how, just classic Y&R it was going to be. With the Newmans had their table, I felt like the Abbotts should have their table, and instead of me getting my imagined version, I got Jack just imagining all of the naughty things that Phyllis and Billy did together at that very cabin. Woohoo! That was a very good sequence. It was very juicy. Jack is just imagining Billy peeling off his wife's clothes, them doing it right there on his couch, and he's right. I mean, he is right. The details of it weren't exactly the same, but it happened there. Billy and Phyllis did the naughty in that place, I think more than once, and I'm sure in more than one spot. So Jack was right to be imagining that, and I was so glad that Y&R brought that up, because that is what Jack would be thinking. It makes complete sense that he would be there at the cabin, their special place, and he would not be able to stop imagining them being together. It was just a really good idea. I thought it was well executed. Y&R is making a lot of those split screens lately. We're seeing Jack and his imagined version. We saw some of that the previous week. Y&R is definitely stepping up the production value, but Jack wasn't alone the entire time. At least he wasn't just there by himself. Jack and Summer and Abby had this sort of weird single and miserable Thanksgiving club going on. The single and miserable Thanksgiving club at the Abbott cabin. It was kind of weird, but again, quirky and fun. We had first we had a frozen turkey, then we had a fried turkey disaster. It was not good for the Abbotts, but it at least was an entertaining little skit. Did Jack just give Mrs. Martinez the day off? She couldn't have followed him up to the cabin and maybe helped him out with the meal? I mean, the poor guy has just been through a lot. Maybe she could have some mercy on him. At least, like, slip a hungry man dinner in the freezer, something he could microwave. It's really hard to screw up a TV dinner. She could have done something for him. I tell you what, though, when Jack did say on Friday that he was going to the cabin, and I disregarded it because I wanted what I wanted for Thanksgiving, I thought to myself, I bet Phyllis is gonna crash that. I could just almost see, I thought to myself that at least Tracy and Ashley would be at the cabin, for crying out loud, but like I sort of pictured in my mind that maybe after everybody had gone to bed, Phyllis would sneak into the cabin wearing something sexy and she would seduce Jack. I completely anticipated that Phyllis would try to force herself into that holiday, but she actually didn't do that. Instead, she really pulled herself back. She decided to make herself a non-factor for Jack. She didn't want to push. She didn't want to cause any more trouble. And in fact, she ran into Billy and started trying to encourage him to go up to the cabin and be with Jack. I was really impressed with the fact that at least Phyllis tried, instead of to repair her own relationship with Jack, she put herself on the sideline and tried to get Billy to repair his relationship with Jack, which is something that she, it was a very appropriate and right thing for Phyllis to do. This family has been pulled apart. It has very much been destroyed by the affair, and Phyllis all along while she was having the affair was having also this feeling of guilt that the brothers would never forgive each other, that even if Billy and Phyllis had ended up together, that the family would never be the same. So it was good to see her step back and encourage Billy to go up to the cabin, which he did. He goes up there with some food for Jack. He tries to extend the olive branch. I don't know if you guys feel like that was enough. Was it enough for Billy to go up there and try? Is it the least he could do? I thought I don't know, I thought it was good that Billy was at least trying, because at every step Jack is pushing them away, and at least it was good that Billy gave it a shot. They sat up there, they were Billy kind of forced himself into it, actually. I mean, Jack was happy to just watch some football on his own. He was like, whatever, I'll just be alone. And Billy forced his way in there and cracked open a beer and sat down on the couch and just made himself comfortable, whether Jack liked it or not. And of course, it did erupt into some uncomfortable moments. Billy was, instead of probably just trying to keep it casual, Billy was trying to convince Jack to forgive his wife. I mean, they were both trying on some level. Jack did express some interest and pry a little bit on how Billy might be feeling with Victoria and how she's getting engaged and all that. But Billy he pushed maybe a little bit too hard when trying to convince Jack to forgive his wife. And, you know, for some reason, even though I did like that this was the course that happened, that Billy was there and trying to repair the relationships, there is a part of me that feels like I do think Jack and Phyllis will get back together eventually, but I don't really want to see Jack forgive and forget immediately. Even as Billy was trying to make his case, I thought to myself, I don't want that. I feel like I want to see Jack make her suffer just a little bit more. It doesn't seem realistic that Jack would just roll over and decide to forgive and forget. But it does seem like Y&R's putting us there. I mean, even we had this sequence of scenes between Phyllis and Jill, where Jill is needling Phyllis really hard for what she did, that she came between the two brothers, that she had this affair. And even at the end of the whole sequence, as Jack decides to come back to Genoa City, he bumps into Phyllis. She says, hey, let's go volunteer at Crimson Lights. They go, they hand out meals. Even Jill has this moment of observing them together, handing out meals for the homeless, and shaking her head and kind of going, well, yeah, all right, maybe these two do kind of belong together. Maybe things are getting back on track. So it's just, even Jill's coming around on the fact that maybe Jack and Phyllis do belong back together. It feels like we're on the path to Jack and Phyllis, and I'm okay with it. I just hope it's a slow stroll rather than this like a running rush to get this couple back together. I thought the volunteering, I guess, is at least a good compromise. Phyllis is a lot better at handing out food than she is cooking it. So yes, Crimson Lights becomes a Genoa City soup kitchen for the day, and they are handing out Thanksgiving meals to the homeless with Esther in charge, which seemed very appropriate. And of course, I loved that Jill decides to go down and volunteer, although there's a bit of a caveat. Jill thinks that she's going to be able to cross-promote Brash and Sassy at a homeless Thanksgiving charity day, which is absolutely ridiculous. She actually brought with her some Brash and Sassy samples. Jill wanted to hand out makeup samples at a homeless event? That is the dumbest thing I've ever heard. I mean, she might as well have had a consultant in there to give makeovers to all of the dirty looking women and all of the long bearded scruffy looking guys. Come on, Jill. But that's why I love her. That is why I love her. It was ridiculous, but also kind of fun to see Billy and Esther putting Jill in her place a little bit. She wanted so bad to wear Brash and Sassy aprons, and she compromised with a Brash and Sassy scarf instead. It was definitely fun. I liked seeing Esther lord her little bit of power. She was in charge of that event, damn it. And Jill was a volunteer, and Esther was gonna make Jill wear that hairnet if it was the last thing she did. Nobody else had to wear a hairnet, but Jill had to wear that hairnet. It was so cute. It really reminded me of Catherine. I don't know, it had that whole vibe about it. Just, you know, I like seeing the person who's usually strong becoming the foil. So it was really fun. Speaking of the hairnet, I told myself I gotta throw this out to the chatters. Okay. I have no ability to detect hair extensions, and yet I know everybody wears them, and I gotta know, do you guys think that Jill has hair extensions? Because her hair is really, really long, and I'm always fooled by them. I cannot tell. So I want you guys, if there's anybody out there that has an eye for hair extensions and can tell me, I just really want to know if Jess Walton's hair is real. I don't know why it was just gnawing on me this week. I'm like, somebody's got to tell me. I just need to know. So anybody who knows, please leave a comment and tell me this week. Yeah, because I thought she looked very beautiful. Her hair is just very gorgeous. I think that I also the part of the week that I think I also really enjoyed was that Hillary came into the coffee house and was looking for some kind of juicy scoop story. I mean, here we are trying to feed the homeless, and Hillary's in there like wanting to find a gossipy angle to do for her GC Buzz show. She didn't want to be there anyway. Devon forced her to do the story, and it turned into kind of this Charles Dickens moment for Hillary, where she's very crotchety about being there. She doesn't want to do it, and in the end, she floats a homeless lady a few hundo bucks, and she promises she decides to promote the Abbott Winters Foundation by doing an angled story. She does a little bit of good even when she didn't want to. I think she should have done an expose on how much food they were throwing away. Did you guys notice that there were several scenes of characters, the main GC players, cleaning up after the meal and just throwing away plates of food into the trash? I'm like, this is terrible. This deserves an expose. These freaking ungrateful homeless people, they're given a free meal and they just leave it there on the plate. It was disgraceful. Oh man. I thought for sure that Hillary and Devon would have been at Lily and Kane's Thanksgiving gathering. That would have made sense. Neil was there. I mean, all the kids were there. Uncle Moses was there. How bizarre is it to see those three children who are pretty much the same age, and yet Moses is Charlie and Maddie's uncle. This is what you get in Genoa City. Yeah. But it was kind of nice to see that Neil's son was actually acknowledged. Moses is brought up sometimes, but we never get to see him. I wish they'd give us some Sophia or something. Bring her back, recast her, or at least acknowledge her on a holiday. Let her come in and do a cameo. That would be kind of fun. But anyway. The biggest buzz of all. Finally, we have our Kane story. Thank you! On the heels of Hillary's Abbott Winters Foundation, basically seemed like a commercial piece for GC Buzz, we finally have a scene that reveals to us where the heck we're headed with Kane's storyline. Finally, a scene where we see Kane looking longingly at a prescription pill bottle. Thank you! I did mention this, not last week, but the week before, I think I had mentioned that I was thinking maybe Kane would be developing a prescription painkiller addiction, but I almost can't get too proud of myself over that because I've been racking my brain for weeks now to try to figure out where we were going with this storyline, and I think I threw so many theories against the wall, eventually one of them had to stick. Chelsea and Nick went to the Newman family Thanksgiving, and Chloe threw this hodgepodge Thanksgiving crew party at Chelsea's condo. It was a little bit weird. Maybe I'm missing the connection, but why would Chloe have invited Paul and Christine? Is it because the Baldwin Fishers were there? Because Kevin was there? It was a little bit curious to me. It seemed like an odd pairing of people to be invited by Chloe at the very least. I don't know. But the more important question, what do we think that Christine made in that red dish? She comes in with her red casserole dish, and I can't help I'm imagining her in her kitchen and wondering what type of delicious meal she would have made in her little apron. I don't know. But I know that Sharon made Brussels sprouts. The thing everybody looks forward to. Like, Sharon, you're the town pariah. Nobody can stand you. Why don't you make a dessert? That'll at least get you back into somebody's good graces. But if people don't like you and you bring Brussels sprouts, Shoot, I never spoke to her again. She brought Brussels sprouts to my Thanksgiving. After being non-invited, ceremoniously non-invited to the Newman gathering by Nikki, I guess Dylan and Sharon decided to go to Chloe's hodgepodge party too. Although I do really like this bizarre friendship that's developing between Chloe and Sharon. These two women have some things in common, and we need more friendships on the show. Sharon needs somebody in her corner, especially if she has to defend herself against the likes of Nikki Newman, because when Nikki walked in the door to find Dylan and Sharon there together, it was kind of amazing. I just love the almost non-rapport that these two women have with each other. I mean, Nikki walks in the door and she's overjoyed to see Dylan, like, oh, Dylan, son, happy Thanksgiving, it's wonderful to see you. Sharon. Hey, Sharon. Gosh, that was good. Y&R, give us more of that. I could take that forever. But it's so incredible to me how saintly Dylan is being through all of this. He has an invitation to go to see Nikki, to go to Nikki's Thanksgiving, where he could see Christian. He could spend a little bit of time with this boy that he came to know as his son and who he clearly misses and clearly longs for. But he chose instead to have Thanksgiving with Sharon, even though Sharon tried real hard to get an invite. That scene was so good. Just the way Sharon was almost fighting to go to that gathering, saying, you know, Nikki said, after you crashed the Christian's birthday party, we are certainly not inviting you to Thanksgiving. And Sharon says, oh no, I was invited. I mean, Sharon just really is asserting herself back at every step along the way. There is no crumpling into a ball for this woman, and she's gonna need that strength. But it's strange to me how very much Dylan is being supportive of her. And I mean, the man loves his wife. You gotta give that to him. He is trying really hard to save his marriage, to stand by her, and to accept her. I mean, when she said to him, you know, I'm sorry I kicked you out last week. That was not what I meant to do. Can we please just move on? And he just looks at her and says, happy Thanksgiving. I mean, this is a man who loves his wife. I'm really into the character of Dylan right now, and I hate that we're losing him. That's what bugs me. I think that's a good poll question for this week. Like, because I feel like the character of Dylan is very important on the show right now, and we're losing him at a time where he's becoming so integral. So what do you guys think? Should we just recast him? Would you be open to a recast of the character of Dylan, even though we're losing Steve Burton? YRChat.com. I want to know how you guys are feeling about Dylan this week. Are you connecting in with him enough to where you would want to just see a recast of the character? So let me know. Let it rip about Dylan. I mean, maybe you guys aren't feeling him. Maybe you're a Steve Burton all or nothing kind of fan, or maybe you're just not into Dylan whatsoever. But there's just a part of me that thinks he's being so good for the show right now, and I'm really feeling what he's going through. I think the actor is giving us something really, really special here. By the way, last week's poll question was, has Sharon earned forgiveness for lying about Christian's paternity? 68% of you said no. That woman still has a long way to go to earn forgiveness. 32% of you said, yes, let's forgive her. What more can she do? I think that I was definitely in the minority. I came out last week and had a pro Sharon stance that not everybody agreed with. I think mainly it seems like people, from the comments and things that I've read, people feel like Sharon doesn't deserve or has not earned the forgiveness because she is not seeming sorry enough. And I think that's a valid point. Sharon is definitely giving me a sorry, not sorry kind of vibe. I mean, she is fighting back, she is lashing back, but she is definitely making excuses for what she did. She's not spending all of this time dwelling on trying to get amends for all the people that she's hurt, except for when it comes to Dylan. She is really fighting back. In fact, there was a moment at the Chloe's little Thanksgiving gathering where Sharon and Christine have an interaction, and she tells Chris, look, I did what I did, and it's not a crime to love a child. And even Christine had to kind of agree with that. It was bizarre. I don't know. I think that Sharon is going to be finding her fair share of retractors, but she's finding her fair share of allies too. It was weird the way her and Chloe were kind of embracing at one point in the week. Sharon has asked Chloe to talk to Chelsea on her behalf, because Sharon, this is the other thing that I think divides the fans and makes people not empathize with Sharon. She is really like she came for Chelsea this week. She flew off the handle at Chelsea over the whole Faith situation, when we know from last week that Chelsea was really trying to defend Sharon to Faith. Chelsea has been trying to mend that relationship and help Faith understand that her mom did a bad thing, but she still loves you. I mean, in a world where it seems like, even Victor, everybody who's talking to Faith could be using Faith against Sharon, Chelsea is really trying to present another side of the situation. And then to see Sharon fly off the handle and say, oh, it is just so obvious to me, Chelsea, that you're going to do whatever Nick wants because you want him. I mean, whoa, whoa, it was really brazen. I think Sharon's brazen attitude is what is turning fans off and is what is turning the citizens of Genoa City off too. She brings up this week the idea, she's at the Thanksgiving party, and she kind of corners Michael and has a little aside with him and brings up the idea of suing for visitation of Christian, which I thought was very surprising and yet again brazen of her to just bring this up at Thanksgiving. She's kind of becoming this desperate woman, and Dylan overheard her asking, I think inappropriately since it was Thanksgiving. Michael doesn't need to work today, okay? But Dylan overheard her asking about visitation, and it erupts into this huge argument. Everybody turns around and stares at them. Like, Sharon is definitely seeming like she's having trouble containing her emotions. I don't know if she's on or off of her meds, but she had this big reaction toward Dylan when he questioned her, and it was loud enough for everybody to hear, it's really representative of what we've been seeing from Sharon lately. She's not going to take it anymore. She's just going to flip it back. I mean, I think she's hit the wall of people judging her and asking her questions and having opinions on her, and she's just given it back in full force. And it was such an awkward moment when everybody turned around to see Dylan and Sharon's argument. Dylan is understandably upset. Here you are going through with another decision without talking to me. This is more you going off on your own and doing things without talking to me, which he storms out of the party, which I took to mean that, oh, this is his last straw. This is the part where Dylan and Sharon's relationship falls apart for good. But then at the very end of Friday's episode, Dylan shows up at the Newman Thanksgiving gathering. He says, Nick, can I talk to you? And he pulls him off to the side and says, oh yeah, heads up, guess what? I'm going to be suing for visitation. He didn't say Sharon's going to be suing for visitation. He said, I just want to let you know I'm suing for visitation. What? It was such a good cliffhanger. I mean, for a Thanksgiving episode and for the end of a Wednesday, that was such a good little review, or a good little preview of what we're going to be getting for next week. I thought it was great, and I'm so confused. I am so confused. I thought Dylan was mad that Sharon was going through with this. Does that mean that Dylan has come to this decision all on his own? Was he already planning to sue for some visitation? Is he going rogue on this one, or is he joining forces with his wife? Is there any way that this is going to turn into a three-way visitation lawsuit thing? I don't know. Is Adam going to come back to break the tie? I have no idea. That really, really threw me for a loop. And I tell you what, I just don't think that Dylan has any real case here. I mean, again, just to clarify, he's suing for visitation, not for custody, but I still don't know that Dylan has any real case. It just doesn't seem like it doesn't seem necessary, and it just doesn't seem like a judge would award him that. And if Sharon goes out of her way to pursue visitation or custody or whatever, she's going to be in a world of hurt, because it did occur to me this week that Sharon is very lucky that Nick did not decide to file for full custody of Faith, because he could do that. Nick could take Faith away from her for good. He would probably win. I mean, Sharon may have gotten off the hook so far. She may not be insane enough to be institutionalized, but she's certainly sane enough to be held accountable for her actions, and I think that a judge would probably give custody of Faith to Nick. So I'm wondering if, I don't know, maybe Sharon's mild interaction with Christine is going to be foreshadowing something that Sharon is going to be, that we're definitely going to be getting a lawsuit. I don't know if maybe Sharon and or Dylan's case will actually have some legs. That just seems so absurd to me. But I wonder if the only thing that I can theorize and guess is that maybe Nick will find himself in danger of losing Christian somehow, and maybe the only person who's going to be able to stop it by telling the truth is Chelsea. Well, it would not be a special occasion in Genoa City if we didn't have an opportunity to do some best and worst dressed. You know, I was looking at all those outfits. So I'm going to give you some of my best and worst dressed, and then you can give me some of yours. I think it was a light week, so let's just do some fun talking about some fashion. My best dressed award for the week has got to go to Nikki. I am handing it right over to Nikki this week. From the moment she walked in the door at Sharon's house and she was in all tan, that tan coat, tan top, to when we actually got to the Newman Ranch and she didn't have the coat on, and she revealed that the tan top had this beautiful kind of bow tie, like throwback 80s sort of front, and she had these bronze slacks on with the shirt tucked in, and she had these big gold and pearl earrings and this sort of like tangerine colored big Catherine Chancellor style ring on her finger. I just thought that Nikki took the turkey. She looked Thanksgiving-y to me. She looked classic. She looked just clean. I love her hair right now. I don't know what they're doing. It's like hot rollered and just, it's right. Nikki's had so many fashion fails through the years. So I just feel like I have to acknowledge when she looks good. Her body's looking good right now. She just, big thumbs up for Nikki this week. The other notables that I thought were very good I liked Chelsea. I mean, her fashion's been really good consistently, but she had on this kind of like high collar, I don't know if it was coral or like a light pink, but it had this floral print and it was very flowy with these long sleeves. The back was open. It was a short kind of dress. She just looked beautiful. She looked like a sort of a sophisticated princess flowing in and out of the room. And the other flowy thing that I thought looked great was Victoria had this kind of flowy boho navy dress with it had like a geometric red kind of print on it, and it had this really cool detailing around the V-neck collar, and she had these gold or maybe even rose gold leaf earrings with it. I just thought Victoria looked really good. Chelsea looked really good. I tell you, even it doesn't have to be totally formal to catch my attention, because I thought that Mariah also looked really nice just in her casual caramel colored button up top. She had on a little jean skirt, and the color of the top looked perfect with her hair, with her caramel reddish kind of hair. And I liked the casual jean skirt. I just thought she looked really pretty. The men were not very notable this year. There was just a lot of like jeans and a shirt. You know, it's not very, for some reason the male fashion is not as exciting as the female fashion. But I will say the best dressed couple was Michael and Lauren. obviously they color coordinated because they were both kind of wearing this deep purple color, and they're just adorable. And I liked Lauren's interaction with Mariah. That was kind of fun too. But okay, the dish of the worst dressed, which is sometimes almost as much fun as the best dressed. First of all, I did not love Sharon's weird top. It was a cutout again, and it had these little chain link things that sort of connected the top and the collarbone and the bottom. I don't know, something about it bugged me. But my worst dressed, oh Lord, from the moment she walked into the Abbott cabin, what the heck was Summer wearing? What the heck was Summer wearing? I mean, I think it was Monday's show. It jarred me. It was this short red dress and this bow tie choker thing. I'm sorry, but she looked like a streetwalker. I can't wait to hear your best and worst dress, because I'm sure there's some people that I missed in there. I wasn't real keen on Chloe's dress either, but I'm sorry, Summer took the cake. YRChat.com if you guys want to tell me your best and worst Thanksgiving attire, and or if you want to guess this week's Who Said It quote. Let me give you last week's results first. Last week's quote was, "I've been called many things in my time, but Puritan is not one of them." And the answer to that, most people got it right, was Tracy Abbott. There was that wonderful little scene outside of Jack's office at Jabot where Phyllis and Tracy were having a chat, and Phyllis was surprised that Tracy was not judging her, and Tracy said, "Look, I'm no Puritan." So that was, I thought, a fun quote. And 10 people got it right, including Robbie, Aaron, Henry, Consuela, Jillian, Harper, Tommy, Jamie, Nancy, and Justin. Congratulations, you guys. Good catch. I got another quote for you this week, and this week's quote is, "Forget about the poor and unfortunate." Who would have said that? YRChat.com if you think you know who said "forget about the poor and unfortunate." You can leave me your guess. You'll see right there where you can leave it. And if you get it right, I will give you your shout out on next week's Y&R Chat. Let's crack this Chatterbox and get to your comments. And I'm going to start out with one from Consuela, because this is an awesome comment that just it struck me. This is probably the comment of the week. Consuela says, "I don't understand why Dylan is going along with the plan to sue Nick for visitation. I mean, it's not like Nick has been cutting Dylan out of Christian's life. It seems to me like Nick has been putting in a lot of effort to include Dylan. He invited him to Sharon and Christian's birthday party, and Nick made it very clear to Dylan that the only reason he invited them was because of Dylan. I think Nick truly cares about his brother, so he's trying to go out of his way to include him in Christian's life." Consuela, yeah. I mean, I didn't even think of that, but that's such a good point, and it really pokes a big hole in Dylan's motive for going through with this visitation thing. There has got to be some other explanation that will be revealed unto us next week, because it doesn't make sense. I mean, and furthermore, I'll add to it that Nick was really very gracious in accepting Dylan into his home and listening to what Dylan had to say about faith, and not pressuring faith, not trying to put faith in the middle of what was going on with Sharon. Nick has really been, he has been kind of saintly in all of this. I mean, when it comes to Sharon, but especially when it comes to Dylan. So it doesn't entirely make sense that Dylan would be challenging Nick in this way. I'm really glad you brought that up, because dang, that's a good point. Tony at YRChat.com says, "Dylan didn't say he was suing for custody just for visitation. He was duped by Sharon too. Sharon is up to something. She's gonna sue for custody, I think, away from Dylan and Nick." that's sort of what I'm thinking too, Tony. Like, I feel like there's going to be like a three-way battle going on here that maybe Chelsea is going to be a tiebreaker in. Just it seems to me that maybe Dylan, is there any chance that maybe Dylan is just wanting to force some visitation after that conversation with Nikki, and knowing that everybody's trying to include him but not his wife. Maybe Dylan is just trying to use visitation as a bridge, knowing or anticipating that Sharon might be wanting something more like custody. Maybe there's a chance that Dylan is trying to do this to save a little bit of pain. I don't know. Julie at yrchat.com says, October 16th episode. Why is Sharon apologizing to Paul? She kept the secret to protect his son and grandson. They would have been hurt by no fault of hers when Sage died. She was trying to protect them from getting hurt ever. If she was going to take the time to defend herself, then she should believe it 100% and not apologize to Dylan or Paul. Wow, good one. Aaron on YouTube says, I wonder how Dylan is going to leave the show. I'm wondering that too, Aaron. I've been thinking about that for a while. Aaron says, I thought after the truth came out about the baby that Dylan was going to totally divorce her ass so fast. But he's not. He's standing by her side. So is Dylan still going to leave, or are they going to just recast him? That is the question for me for the week. Should Y&R recast the role of Dylan, especially given that he's trying to stand by his wife. He's becoming such an important player in this whole thing. I mean, is it worth it? Would you feel comfortable transitioning into a different kind of Dylan? So yrchat.com, if you want to vote in that poll, leave some comments about how you're feeling about Dylan this week. Let's shine a spotlight on Dylan this week, and shine a spotlight on what we're going to do without him, or what we're going to do with a different actor. I'm open to it. I'm open to a recast of Dylan if it's the right recast, because I just think I don't know, I'm getting used to him now. Plus we need like the cop role. There's always some crime going on. We need a cop. Ugh. Jamie left me a voicemail this past week zeroing in on the fact that we are going to be getting some new writer, a new head writer, who I want to say those scripts are going to be coming in December. We're going to start seeing that change. But Jamie mentioned that Sally Sussman, the new writer, had promised to reinvigorate some of our legacy characters. So Jamie asks, how do you think this will impact characters like Sharon and Nick and Victor and Nikki? I really think that Sally Sussman is going to work very well hand in hand with Mal Young, because I've read a few articles with interviews with Mal, and it seems like he is very interested and very vested in the legacy characters too. So knowing that those two are going to be working together, we probably will see some really good changes for our core characters. I think we're seeing it now with Sharon, but hopefully we're going to see it a little bit more in the future. I'd like to see Sharon's character repaired. I'd like to see her rise to her glory. If they can start doing it with Victor, I think they can start doing it with Sharon, and we're definitely seeing that, right? We're seeing more of Victor holding his two grandkids, hosting the Thanksgiving Thanksgiving party, hosting Christian and Katie's birthday party. We're seeing Victor at the head of the family, which is what we chatters at least have been asking for a while. When it comes to Nikki also, we have been asking for a strong Nikki for a while. And what did we get? We got Nikki and Victor working together. So I think we're starting to see the things that the fans have been asking to see. So I get good vibes off of Sally Sussman. I know that she worked on the show a while back, so she's at least familiar with our characters. She's not coming in off the street and not knowing them, and not knowing us. So I have positive hopes. My hopes are up. So I think Y&R probably should be getting good and building up to some good, probably February sweeps time too. Oh, Gary left me a voicemail this week, and he had a good kind of three-part zingers. So part one is, why would Tracy be home for the holidays and then have the flu and not be able to attend the Abbott Thanksgiving? Thank you, Gary. I was wondering the same thing. I thought we were getting Tracy for Thanksgiving. Why would they bring her on the week before Thanksgiving and then just abandon it? They easily could have incorporated Tracy into that scene. She could have been there as kind of the matronly figure. I mean, she could have helped save the turkey with them, or she could have come in and just looked at the burnt turkey and you know, tisk tisk tisk, given, you know, something, you know, and instead it was just nothing. That made no sense to me. But I really enjoyed Gary went on a tear saying, Jack is there at the cabin working on a turkey for the afternoon, and he doesn't process that there's no heat in the kitchen, there's no smell, there's no basting the turkey, there's nothing. He just thought he would put the turkey in and take it out 5 hours later and not do anything to it. Yeah, I mean, but that's reality. That's reality crashing with soap opera world. The answer to that question is, but you're forgetting the wink, dink, stingly, dang, doom. That's all Y&R was trying to give us, was wink, dink, stingly, dang, doom. Look at this crazy Abbott situation. He had to put the turkey out with a fire extinguisher. And also, Gary, I love that you mentioned how everybody at the Abbott cabin got their own pie. What was that? What was that all about? I mean, they just all sat down and ate a pie. There was no, let's slice it up and each have a piece. They just sat one pie in front of each of the characters, and Jack could not get enough. Just like ram it, you know, taking his fork and ramming it in to Victor's whole pie. Oh, apple crumble is Victor's favorite? Well, then let me just stab it to death. I mean, man, I know you don't like the guy, but come on. Well, I mean, you people you're billionaires. You just eat into a pie with no plates and just your fork and I don't know, whatever. Gosh, I loved that. The follow-up episode, though, Victor did go, Jack Abbott ate my pie. It was effective. It was funny. I'll give it to him. Superplex at yrchat.com says, I think it would be delightful to actually see Travis and Victoria execute a successful wedding ceremony. It would blow up in Jill's face, which I would die to see, and it would also be a change of pace from the old, tired cliche in soap operas that weddings are used as an instrument to expose scandals and secrets. And Sandra follows that up at yrchat.com by saying, maybe at the moment the minister says, speak now or forever hold your peace, Billy will stand up from his seat to exclaim, Travis slept with Michelle the day before he proposed. That does seem to be where it always goes. Probably that's what I'm expecting. I'm entirely expecting that Billy's only keeping his mouth shut so that they can make it to this big old wedding day and Billy can reveal it in the most dramatic of ways. Although Daisy on Facebook sent me a message to say the look that Victor shot Travis after Victoria told everyone the news was very telling. Victor knows something, is what that look said to me. I was thinking that too. I did see the look. I mean, Y&R made a point of Victoria making her whole big announcement, and then they pan over to this look on Victor's face. Either they were just getting ready to set up the joke about him asking for Victoria's hand in marriage, or Victor could play an important part in breaking up whatever's going on. Maybe Victor does know something else about Travis. Maybe he'll find something out about Travis and bust up that little marriage, which if it weren't for the affair, I just wish would happen. They were such a good couple. Why did Y&R mess with that? I feel like other people like them too. It's not just me. So shoot. Let's get back to it. We can get over the affair though. But Y&R wants Billy and Victoria together. That's what it boils down to. That's all it boils down to. Anna left me a voicemail saying, is JJ's story a foreshadowing of what Kane has to come? That's an interesting point, Anna, because we got this GC Buzz exclusive story focusing in on this homeless woman who had become an addict, and it caused her to lose her job, her car, her house, her family even. She doesn't even have contact with her loved ones anymore. And it did come, I mean, it transitioned from that GC Buzz piece into what was going on in the Winters household and Kane looking longingly at his bottle of prescription pills. So certainly, I mean, it's a no-brainer that he's going to get an addiction to that. But I hadn't thought about the fact that maybe that was going to be a parallel to JJ, the JJ story was going to be a parallel to Kane. Right now, he has it all. He has the job, he has the wife, he has the family. There's nothing wrong with his life. The man is perfect. Everything's perfect in his world, and yet he seems to be wanting more. He seems to be driven by something more. And I do think that it makes sense that it could easily be fueled into some sort of painkiller addiction. He's taking the pills because he wants to get better, because he wants to get back to work, because he wants to prove himself, because he wants to be the perfect husband and father and all of that, and it just spirals into something crazy. But I hope that Kane doesn't lose his family and more over this. That would be devastating. Justin left me a voicemail with another one of our hypothetical questions here. Justin says, if you could date any of the characters on Y&R, who would it be? Now, Justin, I think I like these hypothetical questions. Let's toss it out to the crowd and see if anybody else wants to give us their ideal Y&R character, that if you had to date somebody on the show, who would it be? Justin says he wants to date Lily, and I feel like, well, if Justin's dating Lily, then that would leave Kane up for grabs. I think I'm getting close to having a baby. This might be the last Y&R chat before I go off to, do that. So just a heads up, if you guys don't hear from me next week, that's where I went. But you can go to yrchat.com. I'm still going to have a post up there where you guys can chat about the show for the week. I'm sure I'm going to want to pop in and say hi and just see what's up. I'm definitely going to keep watching the show. There's going to be a lot of, I'm sure, sleepless hours in my future, so I will be watching Y&R, and going to the website would be a great place to chat with other chatters, and I'll try to bounce in there when I can. I'm still editing and posting Genoa City soap videos. I was kind of proud this week because I was watching Billy at the Abbott cabin cracking back that beer, and I just this week had posted a video showing you guys how I clean up and tidy up the Billy soap bars, which were made with beer. I intentionally designed that Billy soap to match his character and his drunken party boyness, and so it's a really cool soap, and I thought, well, hey, let's turn on the camera while I clean them up, and I talk a little bit more about how I made soap with beer. So if you want to see that, see Allie in her kitchen doing something a little bit different, GenoaCitySoap.com. Just go there and you'll see the video posted on the blog. And I'm going to keep trying to post those even as I kind of go out on maternity leave. So since they're already filmed and everything, I'll try to keep getting those out there. So you'll see a little bit of Allie, even if I'm not doing the weekly Y&R chat, but just for a little bit. I'm hoping that it'll only be a couple of weeks before I'll at least be able to get back into podcasting. So don't freak out if you don't hear from me next week, and please keep your comments coming at YRChat.com. You can also go to, from the website, YouTube and Facebook and iTunes and all that stuff, but I'm probably not going to be checking the YouTube and the Facebook as much. So if you really want to get your comments in, go to the website, and if you want to check in and see what I have to say, go to the website as well. And I promise we're going to be back to our regular schedule as soon as possible. So everybody have a really good week. If I don't see you, and if you don't see me for a little while, just assume everything's okay, and that you'll be back to seeing my bright shining face here soon, I'm sure. I will miss you guys, but I might be back next week. We'll see. I don't know. These things you can't put a timer on it, but I'll be back eventually. And I love you guys, and I am totally counting on and appreciating your support and watching the show, and still watching. I'll still be watching and still be commenting. So everybody have a good one. I love you, and I will see you soon. I promise. Bye.